Hey, good morning everyone. Justin again. As always, thanks for watching my channel. Welcome back. Got a little bit of a frog in my throat. Not sure what the deal is. Maybe I just had too much karaoke the other night. Be it as it may though, I had a discussion topic that I wanted to talk about because that involves the last Money Monday video that I did when we were talking about real estate and I was looking to buy a house. So I want to share my thoughts on real estate as well as this transitory inflation talk that's been going on the market news and things like that, because I think it's important for everyone to kind of for those that don't know, I think this video would be helpful. Okay, so let's talk about this property that I was trying to buy to potentially turn into a rental a year later, okay? Because you have to own the place for 1 year, 1 day, and you have to be living in it and habitating it before you can actually turn around and, I guess legally on paperwork, rent it out to somebody. Prices are at an all-time high on houses right now. I am well aware of that. But the mortgage or interest rates are like at an all-time low. So I was trying to lock in a low interest rate. Some of you guys might be saying, well, yeah, dude, but remember the crash of '08 and everything. It's in a seller's market right now. You're right, it is a seller's market. To be buying in a seller's market is crazy. But I'm going to tell you what my thought process was behind it. I believe in about 6 months to 1 year time frame, it's going to be a renter's market. Okay, it's not going to be a buyer's market, might not be a seller's market, but I believe it's going to be a renter's market. I'm going to tell you why. So during COVID, everyone was having difficulty paying rent. There was issues with that. People losing their jobs, not being able to maintain consistent income. So people were not really like selling houses. In fact, you had a lot of the people that were of the high class or upper middle class buying houses and then investing money in them by making the properties overall better and worth more. And then they were turning them into rental properties. Then we had the government step in to provide some kind of rental aid to those that couldn't afford it because they lost their job due to COVID. Aside from California, even Kevin said, look, there was like $5.5 billion of rental monies that were given to Californians, and only 1% of that money that was actually contributed actually went out to people that needed it. 1%. That's terrible, man. That's terrible. So where's this money going? I don't know. But it's not going to the people, which it should. So I agree with Kevin on that. It's ridiculous. Hopefully he does become governor because I think he's a good guy. But looking forward, if I was able to lock in a low interest rate, even if the price is a little bit high, I don't believe prices on housing are going to come down. If anything, I believe they're either going to maintain at the levels that they're at, or they are going to potentially go up because wage increases have been occurring. Minimum wage here in California now is like $15 an hour, and some corporations are paying $15 an hour, some $14.50, but we're pretty close to the $15 mark. That's a lot. Okay, now people can actually afford to rent, right? But you still almost need at least 2 incomes to be able to afford the things in life and children, etc. You need multiple sources of income for that. But in getting back to that, wage increases have been occurring. And what they're talking about as far as inflation, they're talking about raising mortgage rates. And if they raise mortgage rates, who is going to be able to qualify for that? Well, guess what? It's not going to be the lower class. It's not going to be middle class. It's going to be the upper middle to high class. Those are the only people that are going to be able to afford these home loans at the prices that they're going for at the higher interest rate. Because those of us that are in the lower to middle can't afford that. That the interest rates, when you raise the interest rate from like 3 to 4% up to like 6 and 7%, that's a big chunk of difference. And if the pricing of the house doesn't adjust downward and it does stay the same or continue to go up like I think it will be, you're going to find this to be more of a renter's market. People are going to be looking at more renting instead of buying. No one's going to be interested in buying because the rates are too high and the prices are high. So now you got two things that are kind of going against it being a buyer's market. No one's going to be buying like that. And unfortunately, everyone's going to have to wait until either the rates come down or the pricing of the housing comes down. And I don't know that we're going to see a reduced price in housing. We might see a reduced mortgage rate because it's supposed to be transitory right now. And this is not just for mortgages, okay? They're talking about inflation as a whole. I believe they're creating fear amongst the people because by using this term inflation, everyone's freaking out that prices are going to be going up because the Fed's talking about raising it by like 2%. Guys, if you've been living in the last 2 years, especially going through COVID, you probably have saw price increases well before inflation was even brought up. The companies themselves have been increasing the prices because the demand is so high and supply can't keep up. The toilet paper issue was probably number one. That was one of the biggest things. Water, okay? And then people were going after electronics and stuff like that. Now cars, okay? It's so hard to get new cars in. They can't keep up with the inventory because of the demand. Now used cars are starting to go up in price. Gas prices are going up. Gas prices were at an all-time low. And we had these ships that were literally just floating around and they couldn't store enough petrol. Now everyone's gassed up and going all over the place because now they got the vaccine and everything. But don't think for a minute that inflation hasn't been occurring for these last 2 years. It has been. They just haven't been talking about it until now. And I believe they're creating fear amongst the market right now. And that's the only thing that you're going to see that's going to be wild and crazy is going to be market adjustments based on the Fed's decision. The way I'm looking at it is it's misdirection, okay? It's misdirection. They have you believing that inflation is coming and they're showing you all these crazy swings in the market while at the same time prices are already going up at these other establishments and companies. It's a misdirective. They're really just taking your attention, putting the fear over here while they're secretively already increasing them as it is. So if you don't think that inflation has not been occurring, go to a store, start taking pictures. Give it 6 months, take a picture of the same exact product, the same exact shelf and everything, and see if that price went up 5%, 6%, 10%. You know, I'm wondering if they're going to inflate the actual taxation. See, some of you guys don't have to pay taxes for sales. So we have sales tax here in California. And depending on which county you're in, it could be higher or lower, anywhere between 8 and 10%. I'm just curious if they're going to start raising the rates as far as sales tax goes. Not so much the price of goods and services because those prices have already gone up. So you're being gouged in the left eye while your right eye is looking at something completely else. So, but anyways, these are my thoughts and opinions. Okay, it's a completely opinionated discussion topic that I've created. Figured I'd go ahead and put the video together today because I don't really know how my Monday is going to be, but I wanted to share this with you guys going into the next trading day. So I'm going to put this in the Money Mondays playlist, but I'm probably going to upload it today on Sunday because I want you guys to be thinking about this before you go into the market. If you own shares of any kind of stock right now that are way red, don't freak out. Just hold. Okay? I don't ever buy into any stock that I don't see myself holding long term. But if I can swing it and make a few bucks and then come back in at it later and pick it up cheap again, I will. But I always plan on buying the stock with the intention of holding it long term. But I can't speak for everybody else. I don't know what your tolerance to fear is, okay? I know it's a scary thing for a lot of people to see all your hard money that you've earned and been saving and investing turn red. I get it. Maybe swing trading is not for you. Maybe growth stocks are not for you. Maybe a nice dividend stock that pays you consistently every 3 months or every month, depending on which company you own fractional shares in, might be a better way to go. There are plenty of people that have created a passive source of income with dividend stocks. They're a little bit boring. They don't swing as wildly in one direction or the other. So you don't have to worry about watching all your monies that you've worked hard to save just plummet. Whereas growth stocks, you never know what's going to happen. One day it's going to be way up here, and next day it's way down here. And you just got to kind of ride it out. Okay? But everyone has a different tolerance for what it is they can stomach. And it's like my dad told me, if you can't stomach the losses, you'll never be able to stomach the gains. And that is a perfect quote for today's video. So that's my thought. The house did not work out. For those of you that were wondering if the house worked out, it did not work out. I did not qualify for the amount that I needed for the house. So because I've got too much debt to income. We're going to get into debt to income later. But just know that right now I've got to pay down some debt before I can actually increase the amount that I'm allowed to have to go towards another home. But right now, with the monies that I did get approved for, there's nothing that I want to purchase housing wise in that price range. So price range that I have in my head, I'm not there yet, but I'm working up to it. Set your goals high, and anything is achievable if you're willing to work really hard at it. I set unrealistic goals to some people sometimes, but for me, they're all achievable because I work really hard towards those goals and I don't give up easy. That's my thing. I beeline it for what it is that I want, and I put all my heart and energy into it. That's how I am though. That's what I do. hopefully you guys got something out of this. If nothing else, hopefully you found it motivating, to say the least, to help you build a savings portfolio of some kind or an investment portfolio. If nothing else, I hope it gave you a better understanding of why I was considering purchasing a house. Now you guys know. I feel like it's going to be a renter's market here within the next 6 to 12 months because of what the Fed is getting ready to do. Don't believe me? Hold on to this video for a year and see what happens with the interest rates for the mortgages and see if I'm right. 50-50 shot, baby. See you guys next time. Cheers and deuces.